Call the meeting to order. Everyone will rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First order is public to be heard. Do we have any, Carla?
No.
All right. Move right along. Okay.
Good work.
Eli is not here today, so we're going to start out with Mr. Smith for his superintendent's
So I have our report up on the screen. Just a few things to mention. We just gathered, of course, 2 weeks ago, so I wanted to begin.
Maybe.
Carl, you just click, I don't know, it's not going through. Oh, wait a minute.
Did you know?
Just got to turn it on.
No, I checked this before. Okay, just let's try the old-fashioned way.
Oh, yes, I did that.
That's fine.
Verify chair.
Timed out.
I know. Is that why maybe that didn't work?
Probably.
Do you want me, I was gonna say, do you want me to log in? What is that?
Yeah, just do a little.
305, 378.
That's what you. Wood floors. We'll see. They're on the same way, right? Let's be serious.
There we go. All
right.
Perfect. Thanks, Carl.
You're going, what did do anything?
Okay, so I wanted to begin by thanking the board. We had a retreat last week. We had some good conversations, some good discussion on board processes and procedures. Thanks to NISBA for coming in and offering the retreat to us. I'd invite the board to make any comments if you'd like at this time, or we can wait until later, but I appreciate the time that we spent together. I appreciated the board are willing to learn and grow as well. So any comments from the group on the retreat?
I enjoyed the fact that it was from NISBA, so you kind of got to, you get stuff from them all the time, but actually to put a face to the organization was helpful.
Good.
Yeah, I think it was a good retreat. Learned as a board some things that we didn't know what we can do, and I think it was a overall good night.
So thank you for that. Along those lines of learning, last week, I'm going to have Molly talk about this in a minute, we sent a rather large team to what has become the annual Solution Tree Conference in Rochester. We had all our schools that were there. I attended on Wednesday. We had participants meeting all week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We had, of course, top-notch national facilitators. And I did ask our teachers to kind of just share with me some of the comments as to what they got out of the conference. Again, the theme, the PLC stands for Professional Learning Communities. We're in our third year of that process now. So I just want to share with you some comments that our teams made, and then Molly can talk about it as well. This all ties into student instruction and processes. So just some general comments are: change is inevitable, growth is optional. If it is predictable, it is also preventable as far as tying into like student learning. A PLC is a never-ending process in which educators commit to working as a team to ensure higher levels of learning for every student. When the process is strong, the performance is high. The work of the PLC will be all hands on deck all the time. It will be messy, but we will learn by doing to ensure high levels of learning for all students. Teacher learning leads to increased student learning. The teacher is responsible for the conditions in which students learn. And then there's this neat little session that I wasn't able to go to. I think Molly went to. It's called the 15-day challenge. And we had some teachers go to the 15-day challenge. I'm going to read what they wrote, and Molly talk about that. They were inspired by the 15-day challenge, We took these ideas to the 5th grade team for our curriculum writing days, and I've already used the process to work on ELA and math unit plans. And lastly, in our my talk, we were excited, this is from the middle school, we were so excited to have the time to finalize our BNS mission statement, our BNS school community, and ensure that all students will grow academically, socially, and emotionally. So Molly, can you talk about the 15-day challenge and also the conference in general?
So I think that because we have been learning about it, the conference was a little bit more meaningful just because they understand some of the basic things, and now it's really going deeper with it. How will they apply it? How will they bring it? And the 15-day challenge was something we learned in year one. One of the presenters who we love on video or in the virtual setting was actually here, and she's even better in person. And she coined that. She really believes that if you set a cycle to be 15 days, you're going to get the maximum output. And that's challenging people to really think through how can you think of kind of 3 weeks of time in terms of what are you going to expect kids to learn and then hold them for that and ensure that they're going to get it by the end of the cycle. So a lot of times when we set up interventions, we set it for 6 to 10 weeks because that's what I would say the old researchers have taught us to do. And sometimes I think that it's not as close to the learning as we would want it. So if we're looking at what's happening in the classroom on a regular basis and who's not thriving, we're establishing times to really help them right away. So it'll be exciting to see what we can do with that 15-day challenge. And if we can get that really rolling, the idea is that you want to move from one successful cycle to another. So if you, every 15 days, that puts it at least on a monthly. In theory, we should be covering some really good ground with the priority standards that we want to see kids really, really own before they leave to go to the next school year.
And you as a board will have an opportunity to hear from some of these folks, I think later this fall as one of our virtual workshops, a lot of the same messages that our staff has been hearing. So I just want to thank our staff and principals that attended last week. Thanks for Molly for setting it up in our office, but we had a very strong attendance there, and we're going to keep going on here with year 3 of this process. Just real quick, I want to talk about the cell phone ban. On the left, I have some pictures that our staff have been working on, going from left to right. The different colors there are the different grade levels. This is for the high school. Then on the right are the pouches, and then on the bottom are the file cabinets, all labeled. Every student's going to have their own folder. The phone will go in the pouch with a B on it, and then it's going to be locked there in the cabinet, and there have been entryways set aside for our students to enter. So Ms. Westman, Dr. Krein have been working hard on that. On the far right later on, this is on the website right now, but we did put together some tips for parents to help their children with this new expectation. When I send out my welcome back letter later this week, that will be in there. There will be a link to that. And so that's on the website right now. It's on the far right. We put together some tips for parents as we promised we would. Then, with respect to the code of conduct, there was a suggestion from our board president to include some looser language perhaps around who can pick up the cell phones given that mom and dad may work. So in the highlight there under letter A, I modified it based on your suggestions. The phone, if it is confiscated, it would be released to an individual authorized by the parent or guardian and with principal or assistant principal permission. So that is in the code now based on the feedback we received last week. So we'd like it to be mom or dad, but it can be another responsible adult. The principal, the assistant principal would have the authority to make that call after talking to the child's parent or guardian. Everything else is the same based on the feedback I got from last time. So that's, and the code of conduct to be approved later on here tonight. Kindergarten screening, always a fun time. Just want to recognize our teachers. We welcomed our kindergartners to Jackson School last week or so. Always a fun process to see and observe, so I want to recognize them and welcome our new kindergarten students into Jackson. This morning, very excited, lots of pictures on it. We had new staff orientation. I want to thank John for his comments. Dan Schmidt also was there. The bottom picture is all our new staff, both from this year and last year. So staff that was hired during the year last year, and any new staff coming this year, they were all there. We had teachers there. We had maintenance staff, IT, technology, aides, clerical, they were all there. I gave some some workshop information. John Regal gave them a welcome. I presented on social media and some board policies. And then the far right, we did a bus tour around the city. I had a bus, and then Anne-Marie Starwood had a bus, and then we ended at the Holland Land Office, where the director gave some information on the history of the city, of the town, and also the land office. We ended with lunch. So I want to thank John and Dan for attending that. Any comments you guys want to make on that? John and Dan?
Yeah, I'll just say, for me as a new board member, it was phenomenal to see the whole leadership team in the front, and not just to see them, but to hear their hearts. We're winning. I just see these great leaders, and we're pouring into them and their hearts for the students and the community. And then another thing that caught my eye is one of the former students is now going to, I think, be a teacher in one of the schools. Is it
Right.
North?
There's a couple.
Couple.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
several,
yeah, so the investment made is now we're seeing the fruit of it. And they're gonna invest into the community that they already love and grew up in, so,
Thank you.
anyway, excited.
It was an excellent activity you did, having the leadership talk about, Jason and I had each of them explain what they love about our district, and it was good to see them, the things that they had to say, and like Dan said, being in front of the staff and showing that, hey, we're here for you guys was excellent.
Yep. I want to thank Anne-Marie Starwitz, a longtime Batavia teacher, for her helping with the tour. I took all the non-teachers on my bus, and then Anne-Marie had the teachers. And honestly, the Holland Land Office, I'm a bit of a history nerd here, but it's pretty well received. I saw people walking around, Carla was with me, and it was well received. And I think my sense really is to give people a sense of who they are and as to where we're from. And we showed, of course, some historic sites in the town and the city, but also some of our old schools, the current schools. Just gave a context there, and Ryan Duffy did a great job discussing more about the city of Batavia. So
Now you'll have to take them on the ghost tour in October. Take them to the cemetery.
We drove by the cemetery, told them all about the legends there. Anything you want to add? No, you were involved in that
It's
too.
a good group, and I think it was a nice balance. I think being at BMS with the cafeteria that's been redone was a really nice way for them to see who we are and what we do.
So that was, and then the rest of the week, I'll be with, or not me personally, but the teachers are going to be here for the rest of the week. I'll be with them again tomorrow morning, along with Dr. Corey. So tomorrow through Thursday or Friday, there's teachers only. We welcome all the staff back, from teachers all the way through our aides and support staff and clerical and maintenance. So that was always an exciting day. And then upcoming days for you as a board, Tuesday the 2nd, please join us in the auditorium at 8 o'clock at the high school to welcome back our staff. We have some open houses coming up. You're invited to attend 3 Thursday nights in a row, Robert Morris, and then Jackson, then the middle school. The 22nd, you have a board meeting, we have a board meeting, and then on the 23rd, just an update, a few of you are going to come and meet with our lawmakers, Assemblyman Hawley and Senator George Borrello, to look at our preschool program in more detail on Tuesday the 23rd. So that's my report. Any questions, comments, or anything not clear? Okay, thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, we need a motion to approve the grouping of consent items, F through K. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barb. Any discussion?
I just have a question for Andy.
Hey, absolutely.
I looked at the financial reports and the closeout for the last end of the school year, and there are some funds. What happens to those funds?
Any surplus funds
Yeah.
get transferred in one of several ways, either to reserves or appropriated for next year to offset any shortfall in revenue, the appropriated fund balance amount, that $2.5 million. So it gets basically cordoned off for either appropriated fund balance or else transfers into our reserve accounts,
Okay,
any surplus.
okay.
All right?
Excellent. Good question. We have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, excellent. All right, so old business. First up is we need a motion to vote on the 2026 BCSD Code of Conduct with revisions as presented by Mr. Smith. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Benedict. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schmidt. And any discussion on that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up for old business is a motion for the Richmond Library Grant Project. And Mr. Smith or Andy,
Yeah.
just to update on
So
what exactly
last
that
month,
is, so the
last month,
public
I
knows.
think, so last month you approved the secret resolution on that, which talks about the environmental impact. The project itself is being paid through via a grant, and they're looking at making the bathrooms more ADA compliant with some new finishes and toilet accessories, and then move some stairways around to accommodate an area of refuge. So it's in about the fourth whereas down there in the project itself. So last month the board approved the secret resolution to deal with any environmental impact. There was none. Now we're just seeking to grant the library permission to move ahead with the project. Within this.
That's
Okay.
good.
Is that fair, everybody?
Sounds good for me. Do I have a motion for the Richmond Library Grant Project?
So moved.
We'll give it to Jen, she's a little closer. And do I have a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Benedict. Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, thank you. Next up is under new business. We will need a motion for the District Comprehensive Improvement Plan and School Comprehensive Education Plan 2025-2026. So do you want to give a quick overview of that, Molly, for us?
Those are the required plans from state ed. The district has a plan and the middle school has a plan. We're basically just going deeper with PLC work, really carefully looking at the subgroups and how it fits with that process, and making sure that we have enough supports to give them what they need to close the gaps.
Excellent. Anyone have any questions on that? No? All right, thank you, Dr. Corey. And do I have a motion first?
So moved.
Mrs. Benedict was waiting, she was eyeing that one. Motion by Mrs. Lenve, do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, Mrs. Anderson on the back. And all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, next up under M is we need a motion for change of order resolution. This recommended action will be the board authorizes the superintendent of schools to execute change orders and allowance authorizations for all phases of the project prior to the Board of Education final approval, with a maximum limit to the authority of $35,000 per change order or per allowance authorization.
So anything above 35, I need to get, you're okay on it first. Anything less than 35, because time usually is of the essence, we need to make those decisions, and we have a great team with Andy and Chad and campus construction and architects, so I have confidence in them. They'll bring them to me. Anything above that threshold then has to come to you along with an explanation. Anything else? All right. Good.
All right. Do I have a motion for this?
So
Mr. Schmidt, do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Benedict. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, for our other reports, do any board members have any comments or other reports you'd like to give?
I had a question. It came up in the new edition of the onboard. It says, "New law requires plan for cardiac emergencies."
Yes.
And we have that plan in place?
We're working on it as we speak, so Mr. Saraceni and Mr. Reed are working on it as we speak. It has to be adopted by January, so that, I just got some emails on that last week. Joel Reed and Justin Saraceni, our school medical director, are working on it almost as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question.
All right, good question. My only, I guess, report would be I was able to walk in to see Mr. Saraceni do our training for our coaches and volunteers for the fall sports. I know it's not a requirement now, but what I think it's great that the district still is, Mr. Reed's still requiring that for them to go through, and Mr. Saraceni did an excellent job with it. The staff or the coaches enjoyed it, and I think it was great that we're still promoting that and enforcing that for the district. So please let Mr. Saraceni know he did an excellent job.
Well,
And then thank the board for coming to the retreat. It was a good time, and I think it was a good refresher for us to get together and learn some things together and grow as a board for the upcoming year.
I think it was a good retreat for the newer board members to actually hear from a NISBA rep. Seems that I've been on the board forever. There were a lot of things that I had forgotten that I got reminded of, so it was interesting. It was so different from our other retreats.
I like that though, to kind of switch it up and.
yeah, that was planned. I'm glad it was
Yeah.
received, so. I think it's better to have, in this particular case, to have someone from NISBA who was your rep, really speak to you about how boards operate and how they function at high levels, so.
I liked how he did like the Q&A section. Like he sat down and like we were able to talk back and
Right.
forth with him, to talk about what other boards do and issues that they have
Yeah.
and how they resolve it and work together.
And they do offer some great workshops. I would encourage you to go on the websites. On the website, Carla can get you login information if you need it. They have some member-only stuff that you can look at. Sam mentioned the newsletter, that's excellent. The e-clips are always good to kind of give you what's happening in the state. And they have some great workshops. This year the conference, unfortunately, is in New York City, but they do go all over the state. They do have Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse as well, and they kind of share that every year, so it kind of goes to a different spot. So Albany as well, so.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, any other board member have anything to talk about, discuss today?
Are you planning a board goals workshop, another?
I think the board can, I'd like the board to speak on that, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go over some goals for us and what we're hoping to accomplish this year for the board, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, well, we are gonna have a call for executive, a motion to move to executive session to discuss matters relating to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, and/or removal of a particular person or corporation, and collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of Civil Service Law. We will not be returning from executive session. Do I have a motion for executive session?
So moved.
Mrs. Bennett, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bowman. All in favor?
Aye.